What the?
What are you doing?
Like, oh my god.
I don't even know what's going on.
Player one. Prepare yourself.
Happy holidays. I've got a gift for you. Buy 4 tarot readings or coaching session gift codes in any combination, and you'll receive 2 additional gift codes too. So use all 6 codes for yourself or share them with friends and family as holiday gifts, stocking stuffers, or maybe even birthday presents. These don't expire, so you can feel free to use them and share them throughout the year. Merry Christmas, and thank you so much for being my friends. Hi there, Libra. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 28th to January 3rd. I'm sorry these are late, but I was in the hospital Saturday night being stupid. The whole thing was stupid, but I'm fine. I'm just set back a little bit. Happy New Year. Monday, the card you've drawn is the 7 of Swords in reverse. So you're feeling insecure here. And remember, these cards kind of set a tone for the week. So I want you to get rid of that tone immediately. Go to your room and get rid of it. Like as if it's gum, right? Put it underneath the desk. Don't tell people I said that. So the 7 of Swords in reverse means insecurity when we know that astrologically you've got some shifts going on. And then especially because I can see the other cards here since I'm the one that put them there. So the kind of insecurity here is that you are concerned with what other people think of you. You may be feeling insecure personally, like somebody else could be the reason why you feel insecure. You know, maybe you read something on social media. Of course, they're swords, so this is communication, and we're about to go into Mercury retrograde. So we're in the pre-retrograde shadows, and that's, you know, pretty much what I would have expected by now, is that air signs like you guys would feel this more than others. And especially since it takes, Mercury takes a step into Aquarius, another air sign, and then immediately steps back. So see, there's no reason. It'll go right back into Earth sign, Capricorn, and then it will stay there. Well, it'll be in Aquarius for, I want to think, a total of 8 or 9 days. And then it will move right back into Capricorn. So the discomfort here is probably discernible to you. And then if there is a kind of thing that you think is synchronicity, and I call it coincidence, if you read something and you think that somebody's talking about you or something like that, don't act on it, because it's probably not even true. The adults have to worry about issues in their relationships and more major issues about having to deal with the fact that, like, they're not happy at work kind of thing, or that in their relationships there's some issue, some communication is just not panning out. So for you guys, it's not going to be as severe, which I'm not saying it's severe. So like, don't go screaming, telling every adult Libra that you know, but for them, it's just more to navigate or even circumnavigate. And then for you guys, it's just more of like the way you're feeling because of the way you're thinking. So don't hang on to that though. Just kind of release it remember that I'm telling you, and I am always right. You know why? Because I can be. So I'm right. Everyone else is wrong. You are perfect. You are wonderful. You are amazing. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to alter yourself. You don't have to try to rearrange your nose and stick it on the side where your ear was and stick your, that's just so wrong. And then of course what we see with celebrity, or what shiny, retouched significantly photos of these people are, that's not reality, because if you saw them in person, you'd know what I know. Or if you've seen people like this in person, you'd understand that so much work goes into, for the most part, altering what these people look like by the time you see them. These celebutante types, celebudorks. I'm not calling all of them dorks, but just so that you understand that what you're seeing isn't real. And even for those who it's quote unquote real, who had like crap injected into their lips and their bottom stuffed with some foreign, like, that is already so painful. Just thinking about it makes me kind of like freak. So remember that that's not real. Even when you see Justin Bieber's, I hate to even make reference to this human, but he may be a lovely soul and I don't know it. But even when his underwear ads were basically publicly out there after their controls are in place, he doesn't even look like that anyway. So he may have a few things that are similar, but no, they did a lot of work to make it look differently. There's, that's a field, right? That's a field that Libra type could go to into. You guys would be really good at learning manipulation of computer images, graphics, anything that has to do with making something look better, Photoshop, if you will. You guys are actually really good at this, because you are able to take something very almost flat and one-dimensional and make it look much more appealing and give it depth. That's just something that you guys can do, because your ruler is Libra already. You're an air sign. That rules everything, including code. And so think about that. You could go to college, get a couple of degrees, and be I almost said something like really messed up. You could airbrush Justin Bieber's shorts. Here on Tuesday, we've got the Temperance card in reverse. So you need to just make sure that there's no issues with feeling out of sorts and then going the route of any kind of substance abuse. Just don't do it. Why do I feel like I just said this to the Scorpios? Maybe I did. I'll have to check. But I just think you're feeling kind of out of balance, a little out of sync. It's what I'm telling you. You're detecting these shifts because by now, since you're conscious and aware of this, you should be feeling it when it changes. Even just so many unimaginable distances out in outer space, even in Earth years. We can't even make sense of this. You got to look at an entire model of the solar system as we know it. You'll get, like me, just kind of lost in the asteroid belt because there's so much out there. The other night I was studying lost and recovered objects, which might be where a sighting was recorded of some object, and then they can't find it again. And when you're trying to time these things to find out what their orbits are and all of that stuff, back in the day, in the late 19th century, a couple of these I remember were a little bit more famous because some of them never were what they were. They were something else. I think one of these discovery assignments was to look for some lost object again, which was then considered never to have existed, and it did exist, but it was in a different, never mind, but that's all mercurial. And it's also very easy to understand once you see it all. So just stay in balance. If you're detecting these changes, just remember that it just is a shift. You're feeling it. Just chill, relax. Don't do substances. Just relax. Entertain yourself when you don't feel right. On Wednesday, you've got the Five of Wands in reverse, and this coincides. The Sun in Capricorn will have already sextiled Neptune in Pisces. Capricorn is your solar fourth house of home and family. So there could be this sextile to Neptune in Pisces, your solar sixth house of your health and everything. You know, there could be a situation where you're not taking good care of yourself and you need to. Now I'm wondering if I totally screwed up some of the recording because oh boy, I'm going to have to check this out. It just is just kind of trippy. But you may be thinking about how to take better care of yourself, or maybe this card for you guys could indicate that you're getting over a virus, that you're just a little under the weather. This time of year, you guys are probably, at least in the northern hemisphere, on your winter break, at least for what I know in the United States. I don't even know for sure if they, what their schedules are, because some of the holidays are different in Canada. But for the most part, I think you can figure that one out. So there is kind of an opportunity or a blessing to be had by thinking about your routines, your job, your school, everything else you have to do, and then making sense and better use of your time. Like, what are the hours? Like when you come home from school, you may not even feel like doing your homework. I don't let my kids start up on anything right away because they need a break. You know, they need to relax, have something to eat, play, get into a more focused energy flow. And then I have them, do their homework or whatever. So make sure that you're using your time appropriately. If you know you're not good past 11 o'clock at night because you're falling asleep, that wouldn't be the last moment for you to be studying, even though if you read some of the research on the internet about studying things approximately 30 minutes before you go to sleep, look it up and see if they've adjusted that. If you already know that you're the type of person that touches the pillowcase and you're out, then that wouldn't work for you, right? So Mercury in Capricorn will also have squared Mars in Libra, Libra being your solar first house, Capricorn, again, that solar fourth house, talking to you about the potential for some conflicts as it relates to the people in your home or your foundation, or anybody challenging that foundation or destabilizing it. I'm sure that will have passed relatively quickly. And then, of course, here with this Five of Wands, we've got Venus and Scorpio will have semi-squared Pluto and Capricorn. Scorpio, your solar second house of possessions, resources, the things you value, how you feel about them, how they make you feel. You know, do you feel like $1 million when you're wearing an expensive tennis shoe, or are you good with what I am, right? Whatever's on clearance, whatever is at Payless, because I'll only wear Champion anyway. And me and my kids, ever since they were walking, that's how good I think that shoe is, as long as there's not an orthopedic issue. But even one of my kids wears inserts in the shoes, to correct an issue with the way that he's standing. And they're in these $600 and something inserts are in like $25 or $29 Champion shoe. That's how much I trust it. Also, this kind of semi-square could bring to light something that isn't in light. And your goal should always be to feel the way you feel and then check the astrology, the aspects, that kind of thing. See if you can corroborate the way you feel. This would be the same thing as with the tarot, that even though the cards, like the stars, have a basic and inherent meaning, it's up to the rest of us to identify with it so that we can make some connections with some even word associations, right? And a semi-square is almost like where something needs to change, something is wrong, there's a conflict or something that needs to be adjusted and or modified. And the trick with it is with the semi-square, we can't really find it. And I would just let it make itself known to you almost organically. Because if you start thinking too hard about it, then you'll find the flaws and problems in every damn thing. And that's just not the way you need to scatter your energy. On Thursday, we have the Five of Cups upright. And this is, again, where I'm going to beseech you that you just release whatever it is, resentment, anything, let it go with the old year, sweetheart. It's not worth carrying with you. It doesn't mean that we negate or deny our feelings or that we have to somehow give them up to the charity bin. But this is about putting them in that pending basket on your mental desk, that you can deal with them at an appropriate time when either it is just relative or in hindsight, it proves to be helpful. So with that said, this is also when we've got a sesquiquadrate here, Venus and Sagittarius now in your, whoops, my chart moved on me. Oh. Into your third house of, gosh, I'm attempting not to yawn. You guys are going to kick my butt. So here with Sagittarius, your solar third house of communication, to Uranus in Aries, which is your solar. Whoa, why does my chart look so weird? Hang on just a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, your solar seventh house of partnerships. So these partnerships could be agreements, contractual agreements, or something you agreed to, like your job is to clean the kitty litter twice a day, in the morning before you leave, and then when you get home, and like before bedtime or something, or when you get home. I think we do it twice a day, like that morning and then after school. Plus, we have a 3-legged cat, and none of us want to see him fall into poop. So we have to keep it super, super, super clean for him. And you'd love him. He is such a sweetheart. His name is Baby Bug. That's just what they named him at the rescue, and the vet who saved his life, because he got hit by a car in front of their office, and somebody brought him in, and he had a major amputation and everything that the doctor just did because he's a sweetheart from heaven. But this sesquiquadrate, it's kind of talking about those habits and daily routines and taking better care of yourself and making better use of your time in the sixth house, with also the understanding that if somebody isn't pulling their weight, like if you're always doing your sister's chores because she won't do it, and to not cause a problem, and because you want to help out, you're like, you're just slack. I will pick it up for you because it's got to get done. We're not letting mom see this, that you can't even figure out how to roll out of bed and make it, okay? Like we make beds here just for the sake of making them, okay? I used to be one of those people like, what does it matter? I'm going to get right back into it, but then I had kids and realized there was no time for anything, so I better pop out of that bed and be able to make it, and it wakes me up in the process, right? So the better use, Lord, I'm just going to yawn and I'll have to kick myself. Okay, so the better use of the time is to use the sesquiquadrate energy, which is taking an action in order to resolve a conflict, where you might have to actually be the one that says, look, I don't mean to hurt your feelings or anything, but I keep, like, say you've got a step sibling and they're slacking because they think they're going to get away with it. And if you then everybody's going to resent it. And this is where you may have to say, I'm just not going to do your chores anymore because you won't do them. So then I will fold the laundry so that there's no trouble, or so that you can get in your bed, and so can I. And then at some point you may have to stand up and say, I think I got a paper cut on my neck. Oh, God, I hope I didn't. I was playing with these index cards and sorry. So anyway, that you may have to stand up, and maybe the best thing to do would do something more like passive aggressive, and just don't do their damn chores, so that when they're like, well, why didn't you do it? You usually do, and you didn't complain before. The step sibling or somebody else, Cinderella's evil sister or something. Just say, because they're not my chores and I've done enough, and there's no time for me to study extra or to take care of my body, and no. So let it go, because with this, no use crying over spilled milk. Sometimes we just have to say, well, look, this is the way it is because I wasn't careful with my 3 cups, and now I'm going to stand up for myself and say, okay, that's enough. I'm doing everything, and I feel like I'm the one doing everything, and nobody else is pulling their weight too. Friday, we have Mercury moving into Aquarius, the solar 5th house of those siblings and neighbors and cousins and sisters, brothers, people that live next door to you, people that you hang out with that might as well be brother or sister. And since you guys are you're not 30-something, so you don't have kids. So this would be more about your projects and your goals and your babies, and your projects are kids anyway. So this is really where I would be thinking that this shift, if only for 9 days, is going to help you out, because then you'll get it, like you'll see the message, you'll get it, you'll see it clearly what needs to happen. Even if it is to tell the parental units that you have too much on your shoulders and you can't do it all, then that's what you need to do. choose your words wisely, but Aries is your solar 7th house, Scorpio the 2nd. So I would wait until after January 3rd to have any like serious discussions. They may not go well anyway, but Mercury retrograde shadows and retrograde periods are really good for going back over something or to try to make corrections to a situation. So as long as it doesn't get crazy, redneck, or ghetto, then you can go ahead and say, hey, look, talk to the parental units without anybody pointing fingers. So don't put the blame on anybody. Only talk about yourself and say, I am overwhelmed. And I'm doing so many chores while I'm trying to study, which is the most important thing. And then, of course, right up there with the education, with your homework and all your studying, are the chores, because that helps your mother or your father, the family. You know, everybody working together is the way it's supposed to be. And I would wait until Mars. Oh, let me look at this. Libra for you, solar 1st house. Wait until after the 3rd, until Mars moves into Scorpio. Where's my Mars? Did my sticker come off? Where did Mars go? I wonder if when my son moved this Mars, you'd have to see my arts and crafts, dude. I mean, it's helpful, but now I can't find it. Anyway, Mars must have fallen off here. So just wait until after the 3rd when it moves into Scorpio, your solar 2nd house. And, oh, it's right in my face, you guys. So just make sure that you do that. Like, wait until after the 3rd, let it go right into Scorpio. And of course, I don't see your natal chart. If you do your own horoscope online, if you know your birth time, freaking easy to do. The machine will calculate. So put your information in. You shouldn't have to pay for this. It's all free. If you can't figure it out, then just write me here on YouTube is probably the easiest way. I'll do it for you. I won't interpret it because I won't be able to do that much work right there, just sending you some images, but I will get it for you so that you know what it is, okay? So with that said, the Two of Wands is really talking about looking at the future and understanding that it is in your control, that this is up to you. You may not have total freedom to just party like a rock star, fly through the roof, swallow a bunch of bubble gum and go to bed. But when you are 18 years old and you're in college and can vote, you know, pretty much goes your way. And so you see that the future is more than just thinking about the past, isn't it? If we were to place this Two of Wands next to the Five of Cups, we would see he has turned his back on it. So I have no problem thinking that you guys are not going to be able to do this, or that you won't be able to effectively turn your back on whatever these anxieties are. They can be there. You don't have to allow them into your body. And when they're in your body and you feel them emotionally, because we're all emotionally wired, then you need to just process that information and make peace with it and go, okay, so it is time to move along, because I don't want to harbor any of this. Stress, anxiety, worry, and anger might as well be cancer in the body, because it will destroy it one cell at a time. And if the conditions are just wrong enough, you know, we may not be able to reverse it. So remember, positive, happy, hopeful. If you are a person that digs Jesus like I do, focus on trusting him that everything will work all right. Whatever you believe in, it's all the same thing. I promise you, whatever name you call him, it's the same person. And he loves to walk around here among us. So it's okay, even if you're feeling your worst and you're flat on your face like I've been before, on the ground, literally on my face, just crying my eyes out during a huge period of stress that I went through. And I had asked the angels to bring me some soothing to help me get out of that pain that I was in, that emotional pain. And I cried and cried, and all of a sudden I sat up on my haunches and I was like, I feel fine. What am I doing on the floor? I felt like a bucket of morphine had been poured down my throat. And then the next day I really couldn't even remember why I was so anxious, but I had asked for it. And so if you are feeling anxious or you're feeling sad or low, please ask the angels. You can ask your guides. The angels love to come immediately and help with this. Just like in the different pantheons where we have the Catholic saints, for example, these people love, if they're dead, obviously they got to be dead to be in that state anyway, but they love to come and help us when we ask for them to. It's almost like free will. In so many cases, they can't necessarily intervene unless we ask. Other cases, I have seen them, and even in my life, jump right in. They've done it to others that I've seen and change the course of a disaster. When it doesn't work that way, I don't ever think, oh, no angels showed up, you aren't loved. That's not true. It just wasn't meant to go that way. And when we all get there, like I said, we'll understand it. I've been there, and it is freaking amazing. You know, the physics, the laws there of physics are not like this place. So gravity is not there. You know, it's like you're not floating around. It's just not a necessary component of that place. So anyway, just remember, turn your back on whatever the past is now and let it go, because you've got a beautiful life ahead of you. Don't dwell on the things that really, you know, when they come to you, think about them, ponder them, make sure that you understand what your body sensations are, and then distract yourself so that you can release it. Saturday, we've got the Knight of Wands in reverse, so there's no need to rush into anything because there's no really good reason to. So with this kind of energy, with, you know, Mercury slowing down, about to come to a sudden stop, you know, in Aquarius, this is where we need to remember that going too far too fast, like a fire sign is not going to help us. We just need to allow the universe to do what it does. And then you do your part, though. Remember, this is your steering wheel in your life. You're the one holding it. So, you know, just like those little things that hang in cars with little angels that say never drive faster than your guardian angel can fly, because you're the one driving, dude. You know, nobody else is going to jump in the car and put your pedal to the metal. And unless there is some discarnate or some other person who's poorly influencing you, and there's drugs or alcohol involved, what the hell? None of us really even do that. You know, we're present and clear. So the death card at the end of the week is about this Mars entry into Scorpio, I believe. Scorpio being your solar second house, but the ruler of the eighth house, of the natural eighth house, which is death, rebirth, starting over, coming in new, all of that. So go ahead and take this cue. The universe is like, let's go, we're done. You're like, but I've got my baggage. And Saturn says, we're not, or excuse me, the death card says, we're not taking any baggage with us. You're starting over. You're born again. You're clean. You're new. You don't need old stuff. So just remember here that the point is, Libra, that no matter what has happened in the past, no matter what friends have said about you or whatever stupidities people choose to do with their energy, it really isn't about you. It's more about them, right? It hurts your feelings, but it incurs some extremely unfortunate karma for people who want to hurt others' feelings and have no regard. You know, like, look, when a comedian gets on stage and has a routine that insults half of the United States and most of the rest of the free world, we don't usually think about karma, but in a way, if it is too far in one direction or another, yes, it can. We can incur this negativity, which is just a law of attraction, or the principle of attraction. I hate to use that a lot, but I'm trying to give you an idea. So your job is to just allow the past to fall away. It doesn't mean you have to forget the good times in it. I'm just saying that you could file it farther back and not have to access it as often, okay? So the week is going to go the way you want it to. I want you to take that death card and run with it. I want you to use it for what it's worth and for what it's for, to remind you that every beginning requires an ending. This is that ending for you where your new phase of life is going to start, so don't compromise it in any way. If you've got friends who do drugs and drive drunk or do anything crazy, all you have to do, you could send them love and peace. Don't get in the damn car with them. Don't hang around them when they're doing that. Just say, dude, I love you, but I can't be with you when you're smoking because, you know, this isn't my thing. I can't be ingesting this into my bloodstream either. You know, where this stuff can stay in your hair follicles. It'll be in your blood tests, urine tests. You know, and there's different amounts of time that it will. But remember to think about yourself. It's time for you to think about you. So put the focus on yourself. Do your chores and take care of other people and put them first like you always do. But remember that up there in the position of first, this isn't like the Olympic old-fashioned things where they stood up and the winner of the gold medals on top, and then silver and bronze are usually staggered appropriately, and that sucks. Because no matter what color ribbon, everybody should be at the same level because we are all human. I love you, and I'll be talking to you soon. Happy New Year, sweetheart.